Hello, everyone, worldwide. Leslie Davis here. And guess who's with me today? Kelvin Burns.
How you doing?
You know, Kelvin and I hooked up a while back. He's been on a few shows with me and going to be kind of a regular fixture, and we're getting some positive feedback. Right. People like the idea of this cross-cultural kind of repartee. And, you know, having been Martin Luther King Day the other day, it's appropriate maybe if we could get some comments about you. You know, they really made a big deal of Martin Luther King Day and it's a holiday and all of that.
Right.
It kind of messed me up a little bit. You know, the bank was closed.
Right.
And I had to deposit a check and all of that kind of stuff. But Martin did some good work, but you got some opinions about that?
Well, Martin Luther King did some good work. In fact, they gave us a king and they named him Martin Luther King. Martin Luther wasn't even his real name. His real name was Michael King. He was born in 1929. But I love Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King wasn't the only black leader that did some good things. They forget about people like Nat Turner, people like Timothy Noble Drew Ali.
Nat Turner, you said?
Nat Turner.
I never heard that name.
Yes, Nat Turner rose up amidst slavery, declared to the world, no man, woman, or child should be the slave or commodity of another. He was another one. Then you had other freedom fighters. You had the Black Panther movement. You had Malcolm X. You had Elijah Muhammad. So I'm saying on this day of Martin Luther King, we should honor all the black freedom fighters, you know, and a lot of white people that was behind the movement of freedom.
So on Martin Luther King Day, you think we ought to incorporate? That would be good. That would be appropriate.
Right.
Under his name to honor everybody. That would be good.
Honor all of them. A lot of people don't know. They only know about Martin Luther King like he was the only one, or basic names like Frederick Douglass. You know, they don't know a lot about the other black heroes.
Frederick Douglass, what did he do?
He supposed to had, I think, freed the slaves, something like that. You know, they mentioned Frederick Douglass, and there was a lady they mentioned, Harriet Tubman. But those wasn't the only ones. There's many more.
Do you know anything about H. Rap Brown?
H. Rap Brown.
What, you know about him a little?
He was a very good freedom fighter, strong. Stokely Carmichael, Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton Sr. I've met Fred Hampton Jr. Here a couple of years ago.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, but anyway, that day has passed, and we celebrated a little bit, and they honored him. They gave him such a big honor at the state capitol. His name's so long, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you know.
Right.
Fill up. You need two signs to put his name.
Well, his real name was Michael King. He was born 1929. Right.
But something about his father went over to Europe.
And changed his name.
And he saw Martin Luther. I guess had something to do with the religious movement over there.
Well, I think Martin Luther, he was either a Catholic or a Lutheran. The Catholicism and the Lutheran is very much the same.
Okay.
St. Luke left the Catholic Church, so Martin Luther. So he wasn't the original Martin Luther, you know.
Okay.
And so back to the thing about Martin Luther King about nonviolence. He's not the first one that brought that out. He's got that idea from the Indian leader Gandhi.
Okay.
And Gandhi despised black people. A lot of people don't know that the Indian leader.
Oh, he didn't like black people?
He didn't like black people. In fact, a lot of the black Indians over there was in trouble. He never stood up for them.
What was his problem with the black people that have black people in India?
Yes, sir. You got black people around the globe.
Okay, but those people in India, are they from Africa or from the dark continent they call it? Or are they Indian people? They have black races of Indian people, right?
I've even met people, Indians from India, with afros, and they didn't have straight hair. So you have black people all over the world. You know, Colombia, Puerto Rico. You got Puerto Ricans. A lot of them don't even believe that they're black. They from what you call, I don't like to say African because that's a made up name, African descent.
African's a made-up name.
Right, it's a made-up name. Afrikaners, when they conquered Northern Africa, they named it Africa, but there's no such thing as African or African American. There's no such thing.
But these folks call themselves African Americans.
There's no such, anybody that call it, I'm gonna say that right here on TV, and I don't care if anybody get me. Anybody that call themselves an African American, he's a slave.
Uh-huh.
You're still a slave up here if you call your name. That's a European name. There's no such thing as an African American or an African. And I debate that with any professor, any college professor, anybody. There's no such thing as African American. No such thing.
So what's cool? Them calling themselves a black person or something?
Actually, like we had that discussion before, we're Moors, or you can call us black Jews, Israelites.
Black Jews.
That's
Israelite.
right. That's what we are. We're over here in North America.
Well, they don't want to be Jews. They go to that Baptist church, you know, and they're thumping and stomping and all of that kind of stuff. They're Baptist people.
Well, I'm going to tell you how we got to be Baptists. The slave master made us Baptists. The slave master made you a Pentecostal. And let me say this, the Pentecostal is the worst. I have respect for the Baptist church, but I don't have respect for Pentecostal churches because ain't nobody saved but them, for they concerned. I have no respect for the Pentecostal churches.
Okay, well, I don't follow those movements very much because you know my position on religion a little bit anyway, but I'm with the creator of everything.
Right.
So
well, religion was basically, like, they started taking black people to church, especially the ones that was troublemakers. So that's how they start, take us, the slave master would take us to church. And you have a lot of black people say, well, I'm a Baptist, I'm a Pentecostal. How do you get to be a Baptist? How you get to be a Pentecostal? How you get to be a Catholic? Your slave master made you a Catholic. Your slave master made you a Baptist. Your slave master made you a Pentecostal. We're none of those things. Those are slave religions. We got slave religion, slave diet. He made us a slave all the way around. You even got a slave name. But a lot of us want to continue to be a slave, and we ain't trying to get up out of that mess.
Well, so there you go. Where else would you hear anything like this but on the Leslie Davis show, because I got Kelvin Burns with me.
Well, a lot of black people don't understand that they're still slaves because they don't just have you, they don't have you chained up physically, but they got your mind chained up. It's like having a dog. You can have him on a leash, and you hit him upside the head a few times. After a while, you can take the leash off of him. He do everything you say on command, and that's the same with the black man. He doing everything that his master say on command. He want to please his master. And we got too many house Negroes representing us as a people. I tried to get help here in Minneapolis, and a lot of the house Negroes wouldn't even help me. They're afraid to help me.
Well, the ones that are connected a little bit, they don't want to be too far out there. They don't
want to help. So I'm saying is, you got field Negroes and you got house Negroes, and today you still got house Negroes. I'm using the Negro part to be a little proper here on TV, and you know who you are.
There was a problem with that or something at one point. Somebody called. He was a councilman, Councilman Don Samuel. Somebody called him a house Negro or something like that. That was not really good stuff. There was some dispute in the community about that.
Well, a lot of people can't. The truth hurt, and if he is one, I don't know him like that, but if he is one, hey, take your medicine. We need stand up, brother. We need people that's gonna stand up in the black community. If you're not gonna stand up, get the hell on.
And we need to stand up. I sent a note on. Of course, this show is not coming to people live, so this will play next week. But I sent a note on to the Senator Bobby Champion. He's the senator from my district.
Right.
And I'm telling him, I said, what we need to have is money in the community.
Right.
And that money is in that State Board of Investment, big fund of billions of dollars. I need to go in and tap that fund and get some money into people's pockets.
Right.
Because slave or not slave, if you don't have any money, you can't play.
Well, nowadays, back then you had poor slaves. Now you got rich slaves. And the rich slave is worse than the poor slave because he's in a position to help you and won't. And so I'm tired of these rich slaves won't help in the community. So, a lot of these slaves, they just aiming to please their master, and I'm tired of it.
Well, years back, the black people, now you got me so confused. I don't know. I don't want to insult anybody. I don't know what to call them, Negroes or blacks or African Americans, but I'm not going to call them African Americans anymore because that's like calling a person a slave. You call them an African American.
I told them we are Moors and we are Hebrew Israelites, and you got professors that know this and won't say nothing. That's why our little young brothers out here killing one another because they don't even know who the hell they are. And a lot of people in these churches that been to school, they know they won't even teach our people who the hell they are.
Why are they afraid of that?
Because a lot of these ministers probably been paid to keep young black men passive.
Uh-huh.
We got a lot of passive Negroes running around here, and I'm not passive.
Well, obviously not. That's why we're getting together really well, because what we're interested in, Kelvin and I think, are on the same page.
We are.
With justice and fairness and freedom, and regardless
Love,
of
truth,
the
peace,
color.
freedom, and
We're
justice.
We're not scared.
That's right.
Of white people, and we're not scared of black people.
That's right.
What we're scared of is injustice and
right.
unfairness. You just had somebody you mentioned to me. Let me digress a minute. That got busted for something, got pulled over for something.
You know, Brooklyn Park is very racist. I used to live in Brooklyn Park.
A lot of black people moved to Brooklyn Park.
Yes, a lot of black people out there, but the police will follow you 5-6 miles and you haven't did nothing wrong, haven't made a wrong turn or nothing, and they'll follow you. I stopped even going out there. Brooklyn Park, very racist.
What they got, because I remember when they cleaned up Lowry Avenue, so to speak, and
Right.
what they did is what I call ethnic cleansing.
Right.
They wiped out all those houses where those people can go. They kind of moved up on the 22 line towards Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center,
Right.
over that way. Is Brooklyn Center the same way as far as?
Brooklyn Center not quite as bad as Brooklyn Park, but when you get out there at Brooklyn Park, you better have your license together, you better have your insurance together, your car better look good, you better look good. If you ain't got it together, they're gonna put your mouth on the pavement. And that's true. I know that from experience.
So Brooklyn Park, not a place for
No.
black folks to go.
You know, there's a lot of them out there, but they harass the hell out of you. In fact, Brooklyn Park is one of the worst since I've been here. It's one of the worst.
They say that South Minneapolis is problematic.
No, Brooklyn Park worse.
Brooklyn Park is worse.
Brooklyn Park is the worst.
They-
Brooklyn Park, Maple Grove wasn't that bad. Brooklyn Park was even worse than Maple Grove.
But Maple Grove out there, that's west on 94, I think.
I stayed out there.
Have any black people around there?
Oh, they out there.
Yeah, in Maple Grove?
they out there.
Okay.
But I didn't have, like I say, Brooklyn Park was the worst.
Okay, so Kelvin had a friend of his that was out in Brooklyn Park, and I guess, if police follow you long enough, you'll cross the line a little bit, or sometimes you look in your mirror and you see a police car behind you, you kind of get a little nervous, that,
He constantly following you,
yeah.
harassing you.
Well, they got to do some business, because they don't do business if they don't arrest you.
Well, arrest somebody that's doing something. If a brother just driving home from work, don't pick with him. If his plates read out right, don't pick with him. We got to come on out of that. I mean, it's messed up. Got to come out of that.
So how's this guy doing? What's his situation? They pulled him in or something?
Well, they gave him. He's got a lawsuit. What happened? They put the handcuff on him and threw him on his head. And if you got a guy handcuffed, you don't need to throw him on his head. You just put him in the car and take him where you got to take him, whether he's right or wrong.
Why would they handcuff him or something?
Being a young black man.
So what we'll do is we'll get some information about that. We'll find out. Well, I got stopped one time. I had a headlight out. A
Right.
couple of people in the car with me.
Right.
And man, was that terrible. They went through the car and they had people out of the car and all of that. So
Right.
I would tell people this particular message: if you're driving around in the Twin Cities or Brooklyn Park, you make sure that your lights are all working and stuff, because if there's a reason to pull you over, you're going to get pulled over. So be careful about that.
And I would like to tell my little young black brothers out there, and I'm not saying that you won't have any problems doing this. Pull your pants up. Don't be sagging. Pull your pants up. And little young black girls, you can't tell a little young brother to stop sagging and you got your breasts hanging out, or you got all your legs showing. I'm saying to my little brothers and sisters, carry yourself in a proper manner. And I'm telling my little brothers, pull your pants up and make a man respect you as a man. If you got your pants hanging all down, you look like a little boy. In fact, you look like a slave with your pants hanging off your butt. Pull your pants up. Soldiers pull their pants up. In fact, that with your pants hanging down, that came from prison. A lot of homosexuals would wear their pants like that, showing other inmates that they was available. So young black brothers, pull your pants up.
So you're saying that the pants down is kind of in certain people to certain things.
It was a homosexual act to show that you was available in prison. I know, I've been to prison.
Uh-huh.
Pull your pants up. It's a homosexual act. In fact, it also means something else. A lot of times the slave master would take the belt off the slave so he couldn't run.
Uh-huh.
And when you watch cops today, the little young brothers run around with their pants hanging off. Man, 55, 56 years old, catch the little brother because the little brother got a gun in his pants and ain't got no belt on, and 55, 60-year-old man catch him. And that's terrible, man. That's an embarrassment. You 19 years old and you can't get away from a 55 or 60-year-old policeman. I'm not saying run from the police, but I'm saying it makes you look bad. All you got to do is watch cops, their pants be hanging half off of them. Police had to pull their pants back on them. And quiet as kept the police was a dirty police. He could take them somewhere and rape them. They got their pants hanging all off their butt. Pull your pants up.
Well, that's going to be something when a word gets out there that having your pants hanging down like that.
It was a homosexual signal letting other inmates in the penitentiary know that you was available. So pull your pants up.
This is coming at you from Kelvin Burns. Kelvin, you grew up in Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, Michigan.
In the city.
At Detroit, Michigan. Detroit City, West Side.
Uh-huh. And your family's still there in Michigan?
I got people in Michigan, Cleveland, Chicago, but mainly Detroit,
Okay.
Michigan, Arkansas.
All right.
But
well, you're getting a good warning. Those of you that running around with your pants hanging down, it looks like the guys that like to use you, that's a signal to them.
and not only
Why,
that,
why do they do it? Is that a kind of something cool to have them down? Does that mean
they think that is cool. But it was actually a homosexual act to walk around with your pants.
they don't know that?
A lot of them don't know that. And if you get a guy that's been locked up 25 years and come out on the street, he might rape you. You couldn't do nothing with him. He's strong as Jack Johnson. Take you and rape the hell out of you. Make a little girl out of you. So pull your pants up.
Okay, well, there we go with that story. We're going to look around because where I go, I see them on the bus a lot, a lot of the young people. I always thought it was kind of silly looking, sloppy like that.
Well, I don't want to see nobody's underwear nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't nobody know what your underwear look like with your wife or your girlfriend? Another man should know what your underwear look like.
Okay.
Think about that now.
Yeah.
You got your pants hanging off your butt like that. I mean, you can actually see some of them's butt.
Uh-huh.
And you think that some of these men won't rape you out here?
Okay, well, they better watch out for that.
Hey.
Maybe that's why they're having some problems.
Exactly.
Like that.
Pull
Or
your pants up.
maybe that's what some of them are looking for. I doubt it.
Well,
I don't think so.
I hope not.
Uh-huh.
But I know that's a homosexual act to have your pants hanging off you like that. And I'm talking to the little young brothers because it need to be spoke on. It need to be talked about. A lot of things we don't want to talk about because we're scared we might offend somebody, but some of us need to be offended.
Yeah. Well, this is a Leslie Davis show. We talk about everything, whether it's the stealing, cheating Disney company or the crooked judges in Minnesota.
Or crooked preachers.
Or crooked preachers.
Don't forget about them either. Pasteurized, punctified, pulpit pimps, pork chop eating preachers. They don't teach